motion to uphold the recommendation to terminate the employment of Jessica Palmer. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. That passes unanimously by a vote of 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
That was tonight at a special called Fort Smith Public Schools meeting. The board voting to fire Sunnymead Elementary teacher Jessica Palmer effective immediately. The school board said in a statement they can't comment on any specifics of this investigation. But Jessica Palmer is the wife of James Palmer, who was fired by the district earlier this week and now faces a sexual assault charge involving a student. We learned today from new court documents Palmer is also accused of asking the child's mother not to report it. They allege Palmer told the mother he would move away and step down as band director at Southside High School in Chaffin Middle. Court documents also detail how he was a mandated reporter, a professional who's legally required to report suspected abuse involving children. We talked to an attorney not connected to this case and asked how prosecutors will likely move forward.
The prosecutor is going to have authority to charge first or second degree assault, depending on the facts of the case. Even after the initial arraignment, the prosecutor could decide to increase or decrease the charge later on.
Palmer is out of jail on bond. He's expected back in court on Wednesday. We'll be following the case and we'll bring you any new updates on air and on our website, 5newsonline.com. A Fayetteville man will no longer face the death penalty in his pending murder case. Gilberto Gordillo is accused of shooting and killing an 18-year-old at Lake Fayetteville. 4 other people were injured in the 2024 shooting. 3 additional people have been arrested in connection with this. Police say video footage showed people gathering at the lake for a fight and then guns were fired. Witnesses say Gordillo fired at multiple cars with a rifle. His trial is expected to start on April 20th. Meanwhile, we learned earlier tonight this man was taken into custody by multiple agencies in the River Valley following an alleged stabbing. John Connor has been booked in the Sebastian County Detention Center for aggravated burglary. This alleged stabbing happened on South Division Road in Mansfield. Police say the victim is stable at this time. Well, in Washington County, a woman accused of identity theft and working as a nurse without a license changed her plea to guilty today. 57-year-old Alicia Flanagan pleaded guilty to non-financial identity fraud and unlawful practicing as a nurse. The judge sentenced Flanagan to 73 months in community corrections, accepting the prosecution's recommendation. Flanagan motioned to have a later turn-in date, saying that she needed medical attention before going to prison. But prosecutors argued she has a history of lying, and the judge ordered her into custody immediately.
The defendant alleged that she had been suffering from seizures that essentially was self-reported. She tried to use that as an excuse to stay out of prison longer. The state objected and the court eventually said, no, you're going to go to prison today.
We also heard from a Fayetteville retirement community who said Flanagan tried to apply for a job at a nursing home. Staff caught inconsistencies in her application and later reported it to prior employers and nursing boards in Arkansas and Virginia. Well, 13 U.S. soldiers have now been confirmed dead in the war with Iran. 6 were killed on a refueling aircraft yesterday. Meanwhile, the Pentagon says it's now seeking more attacks on oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. CBS News is reporting the Pentagon is now sending more warships and potentially up to 5,000 more soldiers to the Middle East. Since the war began nearly 2 weeks ago, Iran has targeted more than a dozen ships in the Persian Gulf. Sanctions were lifted off Russian oil to ease the spike in energy prices. But Arkansans are not feeling relief at gas pumps yet. Gallon average prices jumped 3 cents from yesterday, 20 cents from last week. The national average now sits at $3.63. That's up 31 cents from a week ago. Diesel prices are taking the biggest jump. Arkansas's average is up $1.14 from a month ago. Well, at the Capitol, the partial government shutdown is set to go longer than a month after the Senate failed to pass funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Democrats and Republicans continue to disagree on reforms for ICE enforcement tactics. Many workers under DHS funding have since been working without pay. TSA agents missed their full paycheck this week, and hundreds have quit, and absences have more than doubled at the nation's airports. A separate shutdown at the beginning of this year has forced a group of state employees here in Arkansas to be in limbo. They've been furloughed for more than a month and they still don't know what their future holds. Carter Thweet talked to a Division of Services for the Blind employee and has his story.
I think at the beginning of this furlough, we were originally thinking, oh, it's going to be about the same, maybe a week or two. But here we are.
Gustavo Manzanales is an employee with the Division of Services for the Blind and is visually impaired himself. For the past 6 weeks, he hasn't been paid. He's only been able to draw unemployment.
That means it's not an equal amount of what you were making. So your lifestyle has definitely been decreased. It's very, very, very small, just barely to keep the lights on and maybe to eat.
It's the second time division employees have been furloughed recently. The first was a shorter one late last year. This latest furlough also stemmed from a government shutdown, but when that ended on February 3rd, the furlough didn't. The division held its quarterly board meeting over Zoom Friday. Employees were able to speak up. Many did.
It's very sad, all of this that's happened.
Are we going to have any other issues or concerns brought up with next year's funding?
Can I get some more clarity on what the actual delay in funding is?
Cody Waits is over Arkansas Workforce Connections, which oversees the DSB. He says the delay is tied to a federal grant they haven't received yet.
We've been in contact with them. They've assured us that they're working on getting us our grant funds. Outside of being able to tell you that, I don't know exactly what on their end is holding this up.
But Waits says there's reason to be optimistic as Arkansas Rehabilitation Services, another organization under the same umbrella, recently received its grant. Employees just hope their wait is over soon.
What I really want to see from all this is for this to never happen again, where services are not affected for blind Arkansans.
That was Carter Thweet reporting. Director Waits adds that changes are going to be made to ensure this does not happen again, including a workforce reduction. That means even if division employees do come back, 17 of them will lose their jobs on March 31st.